Sure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Social Talk Live.
Oh no!
I am Andrea Ball. I am feeling weird, and this is Phyllis Kerr.
Who it's not weird at all.
So we do this every Friday. We have a little fun. We talk social marketing, and we are talking today about how to organically grow your social following, not with organic, free range fans right there. So we're recording this, and welcome. We're going to talk. The way we structure our talks is we do half an hour of tips, information. Feel free to ask your questions during that time, but at the end, we'll open it up for people to hop on. You can join us live, or you can just ask questions. As always, hats and wigs are encouraged, but clothing is Clothing
is
mandatory. I always want to say optional, and clothing is required.
Required. Must wear clothing.
Not optional. Yes. Okay. So let's talk some organic social media growth. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the big one?
Let's let the audience decide.
All right. Where should we start?
Let's let them. We can start with Facebook or Twitter and talk about ways to grow your audience organically. And we'll let you vote in the chat. Facebook, Twitter, and we will choose the one that you vote for. So go for it.
Right.
Now, I know there's 134 people who will not be able to put into the chat. You can always do a hashtag that we'll be able to see, which is Social Talk Live. And then that way we can start where you want to start. Awesome. Oh, but in our third attendee today is Andrea's cat.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't get the door closed. That's the problem, is I forgot to close the door, and she loves to hang out with me while I chat to people. Blab cats. Cats are blab.
So it looks like Facebook is winning. So, there's the cat.
There's the kitty. She's on Blab.
Be quiet.
All right. So let's do Facebook.
Let's do Facebook. I was Facebook for the Twitter, but that's okay.
I know. Facebook is more challenging in general because it really is kind of more attraction based. There's definitely ways to increase your likes organically. I was just actually looking in my stats and saw some big organic spikes in likes because of some of the recent posts I had, which were humorous. They got tons of shares, got tons of reach, and I had some funny posts in there, and that also did grow my organic likes. So humor is important.
And she's the one to tell you about the humor. See, that's the thing. You have to think about it. What is the technical thing that happens on Facebook? You see something that makes you laugh, you immediately want to share it. The second you share a page post, when it goes into your friends so that they can see it, there's a like button for your page on that post. So immediately there's a way to get likes if the post is funny, but it starts from the share. And the thing is about what makes you share, right? A lot of people don't examine their own behavior online. They don't, but if it's funny,
right,
absolutely you share it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the challenging thing. I have people who are businesses and they're like, no, I want to just only talk about my business and be serious because that's more my brand. You've got to use some humor from time to time. So for sure.
Unless your industry is not suited for humor. Like, for example, I work with an agency who has a lot of accounts with funeral homes. And that's a little tricky.
That is tricky.
You really kind of don't want to do humor there necessarily, unless the funeral home is like branding itself as like the funny place, right?
Yeah.
So, you really have to look at your industry and see if humor is a player or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, Rob, there could still be a little bit of humor that's tasteful there in that case. But, that could be a case where you're sharing things that are, you're posting things that are going to be helpful to people that are maybe about grief support, maybe a really beautiful image about loved ones, about, someone who is, that wants to share it because they're grieving at that point, and it's touching them. So it could be shareable because it's funny, which is more often how that goes, but it also could be inspirational. So,
and this is the thing. There's only 3 really big reasons why anybody shares a post, especially on Facebook. Either it's funny, like we just discussed, or it's highly emotional, like you see it and you go, "Oh, it made me cry. I got to share."
Yeah.
Or it's highly informational, like, "Oh my God, I had no idea." Share. My friends have not a clue. Share. So either funny, emotional, or informative. Highly,
Right.
like you really have to stop the scroll.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so another thing I do is stand-up comedy, and my stand-up comedy coach did a whole presentation, a whole bit about her grieving and her mother's death and her father's death, and how humorous that it was. Where did Phyllis go? Phyllis left the building. But but you can definitely, be very personal about that and share kind of those funny moments and celebration of life, like you said, Janet. So for sure.
It definitely, whatever your branding is, totally, absolutely true.
Yep. So definitely, Janet says, entertain, enlighten, and inform.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's 3 things. And if you start looking at your own behavior online, you'll see that it's usually those things that have that highly in front of it. So something entertaining is like, "Oh, isn't that nice?" And you just keep scrolling. And so that doesn't technically move your post into a place where that like button is going to show up so that you can get that organic like from the feed. So I think that's the point, is that getting your post shared will get you more organic likes. And we're talking about Facebook right here, right now.
Right. So let's talk about another way to organically grow your likes on Facebook. And that would be to be seen a little bit, participate in other people's audiences and other people's pages as your page. So what you're going to do is look for 5 to 10 complementary pages to yours that have a highly engaged audience. And you are going to watch their news feed. You can look at your page's feed. You can look at your own home feed if you log in as your and have liked their page. You're going to then comment on their posts very soon after they post with something helpful, something you're talking about, like, not being like, "Hey, come over and like my page," but, "Hey, this is a really great point, and here's what I think," and post as your page or add some value to that post. And then that audience is going to see your Facebook page and think, "Hey, this person is participating often. I'm going to go connect with them." You're going to be familiar to that audience as well. So that takes some time to do, but it really doesn't take that much time. I spend just a few minutes from time to time doing that, just commenting on other people's posts to pop up and be in their conscious.
Share their stuff. Be generous and share their stuff. And this is not spamming, which a lot of people think, "Oh, I need to go to their page and post something about my page." No, we're not saying that at all. We're saying being a good community member in your industry with complementary pages. And it's really important that the technical way that you get that organic like is you have to comment as your page and add something to the conversation so that people naturally they'll hover over your name and they'll see that like button for the page. And then that's how they click the like. And that's how you get organic likes from participating in other pages' conversations.
Right. So I'm going to post kind of a little bit of an older post of mine that I had on Social Media Examiner, but I still think there's a lot of value in it. There's some of these techniques are a little out of date. And actually, I was looking for another one. I usually have these queued up, but this one is helpful just in kind of making sure that your Facebook page is connected in other places. And it does talk about that commenting on other pages as your page, and thoughtfully is what is mentioned there. But so that kind of technique is really good because, again, it just increases your visibility with other audiences. And if you're having a hard time getting engagement on your own page, once you start participating on other people's pages, they're going to be more encouraged to come and comment on your page too. So that'll help your engagement. It'll also help your likes.
Yeah, and share their stuff. So I have some clients where they want once a day posting their stuff and once a day posting somebody else's stuff. Yep. And if you develop a list of pages to go and like as the page, it's so easy to go to the feed and just like and share and like and share. And a little extra little ninja tip here that, you know, good social media managers know how to do this is when you're looking in that pages feed as the page, you go and you right click the timestamp. That gives you, that copies the link for that post. You go into scheduling and you schedule it out so that you're not, you know, the hour that maybe you spend, half an hour you spend doing this process, they're not all posting back to back to back to back to back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So awesome. So we got a question about this. Let's see. Let's move this one up here. And it says, what would you do this with colleague Facebook pages or client prospect Facebook pages? Both, maybe. If you have something to add, I mean, I guess it would depend on the industry. Maybe I'm thinking out loud here. If you're a B2B business, this would be more important to understand than a B2C. Right. Yeah, I think definitely it depends on their audience. What you really care about is your perfect audience, does your perfect audience like their page? And if that's the case, then yes, you know, you can do it with whatever page you want. You know, it's really just about participating where your perfect audience is. So, yeah.
So I'm kind of curious. We have one other question here. Ask WT, what's your industry? Because if no one's doing it well in your industry, what's your industry? So if you're still here by some chance, put that in the chat. All right. So do we have another tip for Facebook, or do we want to move on?
Yeah, we have one more tip. One more tip for Facebook is really make sure that your link to your Facebook page is everywhere. I see this all the time where people, you know, it's not in their email signature. I can't even find it. Their profile is not linked properly to their page.
That? I mean, I found some the other day. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
Makes me crazy. So in your profile, in your personal profile, make sure your page is linked properly. So the way you do that is you edit your work area in your about section and you go start typing in your page name and it say works at, and you type in your page name so that it pops up and links directly to your page. Now, anyone who's connected with you on your profile will be able to say, oh, what does she do? Oh, look, she has this Facebook page and this Facebook page, because I have multiple ones and I put them all in my profile so people could easily go connect with me in multiple places or see what I do. And I was trying to tag someone and I couldn't tag someone's page. I couldn't find their page in search. I couldn't find it on their profile. It was improperly linked. It was like this little suitcase icon.
I hate those.
And that is actually covered in this page likes thing as well. How to properly link your profile, because that's a huge problem I see all the time. But also make sure that your page name is in other places. Like make sure that you go and grow it with like asking your whole email list from time to time to say, hey, are we connected on Facebook? Come over and like me over there.
Yeah, do you see this new thing? Is this a cool? Okay, exactly so every time I come on Blab, there's a new thing.
I know, that's what's new.
So they were testing this out the other day with a video a movie trailer. And this is the first time I've seen it on one of my blabs, is that you can drop in a URL and it will pull up the site. And then people can click to view it and it'll pop it up in another tab, which is freaking awesome. But the only problem is it doesn't show up in the recording yet. So the people who are watching the recording are thinking we're completely crazy. So,
yeah, that's right. So welcome, people, if you're just joining us. This is Andrea Vall and Phyllis Kerr. We're in hats and wigs, as we are every week, for a fun Friday afternoon, talking about how to grow your organic.
No, Andrea always looks like this. Don't don't let her fool you.
We totally have some fun. I see actually Abdul from Tanzania. Welcome. Coming in. We've got people from all over the world here. That's awesome. So I think those are our Twitter those are our Facebook tips. Really just going to connecting your social profiles in lots of different places, participating on other pages as your page. And then one of the other things that I'm going to give a quick tip to is that you can make sure you're inviting your friends. That's a warm audience. Invite people to like your page through the invitation. And you also may notice that you can invite people to like your page who have commented on some of your posts. Now, what that does is that invites them from your personal profile. So it's a great technique, but just be aware if someone doesn't know you, all of a sudden you invited them, they don't know who you are. But it's a great technique to invite some of the people who comment on your posts to then come over and like your page if you're a little more familiar with them. So
yeah, I did long ago. I did this with a client, and I didn't realize that. I thought the page would show up as the thing inviting them to like the page, and it was me. And people were writing me back in Hebrew, like, "What the hell are you doing?" So anyway, so that was a lot of fun. So no, it's true. It's absolutely true. So now move to Twitter.
All right, let's go to Twitter. We got to move to Twitter.
So here's the thing about Twitter. We have some old school kind of things that you can do to grow your followers organically on Twitter. But kind of the new school things are blab is like a big one. Be on lots of blabs, because I don't know about you, but most of the time when I'm on a blab, I'm following everybody on Twitter who's attending the blab. And also what happens is there are a lot of people putting the people who attend blabs on Twitter lists. And so getting on a Twitter list is a real easy way to get picked up by other people who are following the people on a list. So attending blabs is a great way for getting organic reach, especially if you have intelligent comments in the chat, and if you attend and you wear hats and wigs. And then also on that same vein is Periscope, because Periscope really increases the reach of an audience that you might have on Twitter because of the way it's posting on Twitter with the hashtag Periscope. And if you're using Catch, that too. So those two interfaces will definitely increase your organic following without spending any money.
Yeah. So another thing too is Twitter chats, blabs, Periscope. And when you have a Twitter list, one of the little secret things you can do is make your own Twitter lists of people that you want to connect with, but make sure you put yourself on that list too. That way, if people follow that list, if they subscribe to that list also, your tweets are going to appear as well.
And a little tip on that is a lot of times you can't from the Twitter interface put yourself on a Twitter list, but you can from Hootsuite. So if you pull up the column on Hootsuite and then you add yourself to the list from inside that interface, you can get on the list. It's just a little tricky, little weird thing. And that's the way that works. Now, I just want to say that if the way, Blab is still changing a bunch of stuff here, but the easiest way for me to share this on Twitter, because there was some questions about it, is that I go and copy the title of the blab over on the side, and then I click share the last 30 seconds, and then I paste in the title. And then if there are any other hashtags or things I want to put in there, I make sure Twitter is selected, and then I share now, and it shows up fine. And these little GIFs are very handy for helping people understand the strangeness that we are.
I know. We like to have some fun, and people need to know what's going on. So, okay, let's another thing. So, another tip for Twitter. So, we've got participating in kind of focus places. Another tip with Twitter is to really get connected with influencers and retweet them and really talk to them a little bit if you can. Not just a retweet all the time, but maybe a more personal comment. And what will happen is they'll tweet back to you, and they might retweet some of your things from time to time. That's really how I've gotten connected with a lot of people that I now retweet is just they're sharing helpful stuff. They're commenting back to me. And so I put them on a list and make sure that I'm, paying a little more attention to what they do. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about Twitter kind of dying a little bit. I think that it's not dead yet, people. Let's just.
It's true. It's not dead yet.
I still get a lot of traffic from Twitter. It's not as personal as maybe it used to be, but I think it still is a great place to get connected with.
I still have
content.
some of my best conversations with people over on Twitter, even though it's a real blasting network and everybody's blasting and I'm blasting, everybody's blasting, but it's okay. And the thing is, just like we talked about on Facebook, where you need something that's highly shareable, it's the same for Twitter, and it's visual on Twitter. It's not necessarily the tweet unless you are a really, really good comedian and can put in that single line something awesome that people retweet.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's the image tweets that get the retweets. And by getting the retweets, you get people to follow you that way. So it's the same principle that's on Facebook, only on Twitter, and with an image to get those retweets. So those were are definitely our organic things for Twitter. Where do you guys want to go next?
Yeah. I know we've got, how many minutes do we have? We have 5 minutes. We can keep going if there's no, I know people are asking questions
Let's just don't go
commenting
to
as
LinkedIn.
you go, so that's good.
No,
Let's do it through LinkedIn.
I don't want to go LinkedIn.
Don't do LinkedIn.
Oh, we can do LinkedIn.
Okay, let's skip LinkedIn. I know, Janet likes LinkedIn.
Okay,
so
let's
LinkedIn
real quick. I'd rather go to Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube or anywhere else, but that's okay. Janet has some pretty good tips about LinkedIn anyway. And I think it's still all about groups, yeah? I think it's still all about groups. At least in my experience.
I'm really focusing on growing links. I go into LinkedIn and I go and see the suggested links. I always try and use something like what's that plugin I have that used to be Discoverly. If you go use the plugin Discoverly, you'll find out who in your email list or other places what other social connections.
Oh, right. So it used to be a long time ago, Rappaport, and then HubSpot has theirs. Gmail itself has some awesome things with that. So there's definitely some things there. The thing is about LinkedIn is that I don't see a problem. People find me somehow, and it must be because I'm optimized really well. And also I post there on occasion, and I also do my blog posts there, and those blog posts are still pulling in some good views. Those blog posts are actually getting better views than my blog posts are getting. So I would definitely say that if you're really working LinkedIn, that you definitely need to be using their Pulse, the post interface, and you need to really highly, and LinkedIn has, and we got this from one of our members of Social Media Manager School. A tip about this is that LinkedIn publishes its editorial calendar for the year in advance and tells you what keywords and topics that they were going to be focusing on every single month. So if you want to get featured, all you have to do is kind of work that system. And I already, with a client, have pulled out 3 of the months that really integrates well with their industry. And we have things that are set up in the editorial calendar for that. that for LinkedIn, because sometimes that's hard to figure out how to get seen in that system. But that's the way to do it.
Yep, and I'm actually going to go ahead and post that editorial calendar right here. Wait, nope, hold on, that's not it.
You can also just Google LinkedIn editorial calendar 2016. And there's actually a LinkedIn post about the editorial calendar. Somebody was very brilliant to do that. And
yeah, actually, I have that right here. I'm going to put it right in the chat. So there you go.
There you go. And thank you to our social media manager school people who posted that. I wish I knew who it was off the top of my head. But thank you.
So, so Janet was asking, should we post every blog post over to LinkedIn? And my answer to that is no. I think that, there's a lot of debate over how that affects your SEO. I've talked to Jason Miller, who works at LinkedIn. He cannot reveal it, but he said pretty much, you're not in danger with duplicate content. It's okay, but I wouldn't post every post. Give people a reason to come back to your blog too, and don't. I would just hedge my bets a little bit, since they're not totally clear with how that affects your SEO.
But if you get no traffic to your website, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who get much higher traffic on their LinkedIn posts than the same posts that they do on their personal blogs. So if you have a fantastic piece of content, go put it over there too, because why not? If you worked hard on that content, get it over there in multiple places.
And, we could talk about Facebook Notes for this reason too. And Facebook Notes is crawled by Google, and it's a beautiful interface, much prettier than even my website looks with a blog post. So I kind of like to mix it up. So something on my blog, something on Facebook Notes, something on LinkedIn, so that, there's content everywhere. And if you're linking to everything, then it's all good. But that's definitely a way to get organic reach, is to go and post your content in a place that gets more traffic than your website does, especially on LinkedIn and
very true.
Facebook.
Yep. Yeah, and also think about repurposing that content in multiple ways. If you are going to repurpose the content for your blog and for LinkedIn, why not consider putting it on SlideShare too, making a short video of it, putting it on YouTube. Get some mileage out of that content. It's hard to create content, so get some mileage out of it.
I just want to say, for the new people that are here, we always do this. I know we have this, we should have this little banner. We can do this now.
We do need
we can, because if we can go to any URL, we can create a page that says, we're not as weird as we seem we are. We actually do this on Friday with wigs and hats, and you can look at our profile pictures to see that we're normal people. We can do that now. We can put that up there. This is very exciting because we've always tried to figure out a way how to put a disclaimer, like Fridays are Fridays. We should have fun.
Fridays are fun. Awesome. So we had, so for LinkedIn, really, I think making sure that you're going to your suggested people, connecting with new people. You can look for, join some specific groups to get connected to more people, because the more connections you have, the more likely you are to come up in the search, because when people are searching for things, it sorts them by first connection, second connection, third connection groups. So make sure that your reach is as large as it can be. And
that's how it works. So here's the other thing is, people that are new on here, you should know that Andrea and I are the co-founders of socialmediamanagerschool.com. And we actually have several of our students in the lab today, which is awesome. And we're getting ready to open up our school again. We open it up twice a year. And so you're welcome to go check that all out. We have 2 webinars coming up. And if you get on our list, we're definitely having a tremendous amount of content that we're giving away. And we have this huge starter kit for people who are interested in being social media managers or consultants that we give away for free every year. And so thank you very much. much. Janet down there giving us a little thing there. But so it's really important to know that we have lots of stuff to give you guys. And so please go there and get everything. We really want you to have it.
Yep. So I put the link in there, but let's
put it. Can we put it in here?
A link in there too. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on just a second.
You're so funny with your sunglasses. I don't see how you can see. Can you actually see anything?
I can't see a thing. I can't see a thing. Let's see. I just tried. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Is it? It's not pulling in the image though, but it's got the little image.
Yeah, so you can just actually, if you can see that third box there, you should be able to click to view, and it'll pull up a new tab, and it should put you right in where you need to go. So there you go. Awesome. Yeah. I like this new little feature they have.
So I know. So we covered LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Do we want to cover Pinterest really quick? I know that Vicky's asking about thoughts on Medium, posting there. Again, like any of the places where you're going to post, like Huffington Post, any place where you're going to guest post or has an outlet for you to post. I think that the wisdom is that your website isn't necessarily the best place always to put your content. You need to sometimes put it where there is more eyeballs, like Huffington Post, like guest posts on other blogs. And I think if you're going to guest post or if you're going to post somewhere else on Medium, you want to have a really good call to action, strong call to action there that will bring them back to your content in some way. Because we're not just posting there for our health. We want to make sure that they're coming back to you and getting connected to your list in some way, getting connected to you. So have a very strategic reason you're posting there with a call to action that is going to get someone back to your list.
And it's interesting. It's kind of old school, but it still works really well, is to have social specific landing pages so that you have, like I have phylliscare.com/blab. So if you go there, you can get on my list and get all my free stuff really easily. And so it's easy for me while on Blab to be able to put that in. And some people have these for each specific social site. So I have one for Periscope, they have one for Twitter, they have one for, whatever. So you can just say, okay, phylliscare.com/Periscope, and then boom, they get your stuff.
Right.
Easy way.
Right. So let's talk about, we've got about 10 more minutes. If we want to have people, I don't know if people want to jump in with questions or not, but we can talk about Pinterest or Instagram.
Do you want to jump in?
Snapchat. Someone talks about Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat, so
I'm kind of hoping don't tell anybody, because everyone in my industry is like, oh, you got to be on Snapchat. I'm kind of hoping that I ride the wave and miss it completely and go on to whatever's next.
It's funny because I've seen some people who've gotten on it and then they're kind of get a little tired.
I don't know. I can't.
Because you have to
post every day and forget it.
Yeah, maybe I just need to wear wigs on Snapchat. That's it. If I can wear wigs, I'm in.
Wigs and sunglasses, I think it works really well.
So right. So let's talk about Instagram. So Instagram, how to talk about how to grow your Instagram following, and really. Yeah, Phyllis is the Instagram goddess here.
Not in my personal Instagram. I have to tell you, Instagram for me personally is therapy from social media. So I only follow people who post like really artistic photographs and real kind of old school Instagram-y kind of stuff. I don't follow what people are doing with a lot of the quote posting and things like that. I get enough of that on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook 10 hours a day like I am, you really don't want to do that on Instagram. So the thing is, but what I see works really well are hashtags on Instagram. And so you have to understand hashtags. You have to rock the hashtags. You have to understand the difference between a branded hashtag, a functional hashtag, and an artistic hashtag, and really make that work for you. And, I don't know if you realize this or not, but most people who use Instagram, young people, they don't hang out on their feed. Do you know that? They don't hang out on their feed. They hang out on the search feed. Okay. So, and I'm just pulling up Instagram right now so that I can maybe I can show you this. But this is the point about this is that the search feed is where they hang out because they're on Instagram to find new people and find new things and to look at beautiful things. And so they go onto the search, and Instagram's search page right now is really awesome because they have trending, and those are trending hashtags, right? And then they have all these posts that are using the algorithm that Instagram thinks that you're going to love. And I have found so many incredible, amazing people this way. And this is where you need to show up. Okay. So it's based on who you're connected to, the hashtags you're using, and your engagement. And I'm sure the algorithm's way more complicated than that, but this is where you want to show up to other people so that people will follow you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not distracted by Instagram. Not me.
I know. Seriously. Awesome. And I'm just looking at the...
I just found somebody to follow.
That's hilarious.
Put it away.
I want to make sure we're answering questions.
Where did you say the document was to be sure your Facebook page is connected everywhere? That's the social media manager. Examiner one, right?
Right. So it is really that. Hold on. It's that one that I posted earlier, and now I think I shut it down because I had too many tabs open. And I posted your, I'll find it though.
We'll get it up there. Remember, if you have more than 5 tabs open, you are automatically in overwhelm because every single tab open is taking up a little bit of your brain space. So now look at your tabs right now and see how much of your brain is being hijacked by those tabs. Just so you know.
Right.
And make slow bandwidth.
So actually, I'm going to go ahead and post another link, actually, that describes that a little bit better. That's a little older link again, but it tells you how to number, I think it was, where is it? Number 7, point number 7 on that post there shows you how to connect your Facebook profile to your page under the work and employer section. Yeah, Allie, I'm in overwhelm 5 times 5. Yeah, that's kind of me too. I think I've got 30 tabs open right now. So, so great. So let's talk about, hashtags is huge, is to use hashtags. Now, we had some research about how many hashtags are ideal on Instagram. 11 hashtags.
Now, I don't know how old that study is. I think it, at this point, might be a couple of years old. But, you can have up to 30 on Instagram. And they found that the sweet spot was around 11. But that's a mix. This is really important. It's a mix of those branded, functional, and fun hashtags. So, and the fun hashtags are the ones that convey your voice. They convey your personality. They convey your branding. So those are the ones that let people know immediately if they should be following you or not, just by the way that you have put those together. So don't be so functional that you miss the fun in Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Don't miss the fun. I'm a big proponent in that too. So good. So let's what do we got here? We got 3 more minutes. We didn't even open it up to any other people to hop in. Do we want to?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Does anyone want to
go in 3 minutes?
All right. I know. I'm going to unlock the seat if anyone wants to hop on. As always, with our guests, hats and wigs are encouraged, clothing is mandatory, and Janet is coming on.
That suits you so well, Janet. Oh my God.
So and sadly, I actually go out and party like this all the time. This is my dancing rig, awesome. So well, gals, I just wanted to ask a question. I'm obviously a member of the social media marketing school. Yay. But what would you say is different from, I joined a couple years ago, I guess. What would you say is different today from 2 years ago?
Oh God, in internet years, that's like 20 years ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But there are some things that stay the same. I think in terms of social media marketing is that you still have to be social. You still have to think about your community. You still have to, I think now you have to post more and you have to have a more strategic plan to your posting than you did a few years ago. And I also think that you need to know how to track your social media ROI. And that is the woman who knows, well, actually with 3, you might be anywhere now. Andrea, the one with the wig and the funny glasses, is really rocking that space right now. And so that you need to understand, you have to be just a little bit more grown up about social media marketing now, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is that you got to, people aren't just doing it and saying, "Woo, this is fun." It's like, okay, let's make sure that we're, now that there's so many channels, let's see which one is working best for us. And let's see, let's not waste time here. We're going to be really strategic.
If you're spending anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 a month on social media marketing, you have to be either considering that as branding money that's in part of your budget that's really important, or it is part of your marketing budget that is supposed to return on your investment. So I think that's where everybody is now, is they're being a little bit more strategic and a little more, now we have a few more tools that help us figure this out and than we did a few years ago. Does that answer your question, Janet?
Well, it does. I think one of the challenges is that you all are the leading edge of what's going on in social media, as you should be. However, in the space I'm in healthcare and in a lot of other spaces, people are still saying, "What's the Twitter?" So, but they're, "What's the Twitter? What's the ROI?" And I'm like, you still need to learn all this stuff before we start talking about, some ROI here. So I'm trying to put those two pieces together and, how quickly can we jump people from the, I've just agreed finally to do social media to show me the money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point because often there is, I always say social media is more like farming because the seeds sometimes take a while to actually have some sort of yield to them. And there's a lot of nurturing that goes on. And I think that you're often seeing the money 6 months, sometimes a year down the road. And a lot of people don't have the patience for that. They think, well, I'm out. It's been 2 months and I haven't gotten a sale. And it really, there's a lot more to it. And you also have to make sure you're measuring the right things, which is what, kind of we're talking about is measure not just sales, but let's also measure things like list growth or other things that help contribute to your funnel that will eventually.
And I think that's really the big disconnect for a lot of these people because what they're moving from is traditional marketing. I'm going to buy a billboard and I'm going to spend $1,500 a month and look at the picture of my doctor out there. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. But, did you get any heart surgeries out of that?
Right. I definitely am a big proponent. And if you're going to complain about your social media ROI, you better know what that billboard ROI is,
exactly.
Because Facebook or social media is much easier to measure than a billboard ROI.
And I also think it's a question of the differentiation in budgets. People are arguing in social media over $500 or $1,000, but they're not hesitating to drop, $25,000 on that glory ad in the dying newspaper. So plus it's also understanding that social media isn't an independent thing anymore. It is part of your ongoing marketing strategy. And a lot of times people are brought in and saying, "I want you to be my social media strategist." But what they really need is a full-on marketing director because they're not doing all this other stuff.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. If I had a nickel for every business that wanted me to do work on Twitter for them, but their email funnel, they didn't have a funnel. Their website was terrible. All that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, particularly in healthcare, we still have a lot of websites that don't pass the mobile optimization test. I'm like, put some money there first because you're not going to be able to follow that through. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate everything, and I'm looking forward to continuing learning from you guys. And if anybody else wants to pop in, that's great. Yay. And we will see you online.
Yep.
Bye.
Awesome. Bye, Janet.
Bye.
Awesome.
We have a great question here too. It says from, I guess it's Sean. Working with an online home decor business, but don't have a review section on Facebook. Is it worth changing it to a local biz so that people can leave reviews for that page?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I definitely would, Sean, especially because a home decor, it's an online home decor. Good. That's a good point. I was thinking just home decorating in general, but, I would say probably it still is good to have reviews on that type of page. So I would probably change it to local, but you can select the categories so it's clear that it's home decorating, and you can make sure that people realize that they can buy and order stuff online, and then encourage some of your current clients to put reviews in there. I would probably definitely change that to local. I mean, the one thing that will pop up is that if someone's searching for local businesses on their phone, like what's near me, that particular business will pop up, and they, if you don't have a storefront at all, make sure that you are selecting a proper address, not like a home business address, because people might drive up to your home.
I'm looking for a sofa.
But yeah. So definitely just make sure that you've got that kind of organized. And one of the things, I did when I was testing some of this stuff out is just, put a local address of my local chamber or something like that. It was a little different. If it is a true home business, or if you have some sort of PO box, you could maybe, put that in there too. And you don't have to put address necessarily like a street address, but just be aware of that.
All righty. Well, that was fun.
Awesome. Great. We are. We're right. I know. We'll be here next week, and we do not have a topic for next week, do we?
No.
We will come up with a topic.
We do.
Hang
on a second.
Sweet.
Hang on a second. I know the topic. Hang on a second. Moms. We're talking about moms working at home.
Right. We are talking about moms working at home, because one of the things that, like we mentioned, we're going to be launching the Social Media Manager School again. And one of the things that we love about this business is the fact that you can work out of your home. It's a great business for moms, dads, anyone who wants to work out of their home and have their own business and really control all facets of that business. So we're going to be talking about that aspect of Social Media Manager School coming up next week.
And I put the link in there in case somebody's on and they want to, or they're watching the replay and they want to go and see it. So It's right there in the chat.
Yeah. Great. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone. This has been fun as always. We'll see you next week.
I know. I like this one. Maybe every week I'll do this one.
I do like. You're going to have to keep that in the rotation.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.